Today we will discuss some basic concepts in chemistry. First we will start with matter. What is matter? Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. First we will discuss the properties of matter. There are two different properties of matter, physical properties and chemical properties. For example, mass, volume, temperature, pressure, etc., which can be measured without without making any chemical change to matter. That type of properties are called physical properties. But chemical properties, their values can be determined only by making chemical changes to the matter. For example, acidity, basicity, thermal combustion, enthalpy, etc. are the examples of chemical properties of first. So, all the physical properties of matter are quantitative in nature, like mass, volume, temperature, pressure. All these are quantitative in nature. So they are expressed by using some units. Initially we are using two different type of unit system that is introduced by English, that is called English system, and another one metric system, and that is used by France. But later the scientists introduced an international system of units that is called SI system of units. So this international unit system of standards, that is called SI system, that is used commonly to express different properties of physical properties of matter quantitative. First we will discuss the units of SI unit of. We know that mass. What is mass? Mass is the amount of matter present in a substance. It's a constant always. Mass is represented by the letter M, and its SI unit is always used as kilogram. Then for small amount of substance, we know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram. That is also used, but SI unit of mass is kilogram. Then do you know the difference between mass and weight? Mass is always a constant everywhere, but weight varies. Weight is the amount of gravitational force exerted on a substance. Then if gravitational force changes, weight is also varies. So mass and weight we always used together, but there is a difference. Mass is the amount of substance in a matter, amount of matter in a substance, that is a constant always. It does not depend on gravitational force, but weight depends on gravitational force. So therefore that is not a constant. It will vary in different places. Then mass is represented using an international unit of system, that is we are using kilogram. And for smaller amount of matter, for small matters, it is not always used to represent like kilogram. We used to represent using grams, but that is not our SI unit. Then another one, we know that length. What is the SI unit of length? Length is represented by the letter L, and the SI unit of length is meter. It is represented by the letter M, meter. That is a SI unit of length. Then what about temperature? Thermodynamic temperature. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. But other units we are using commonly are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. These are the units we are always using. In addition to Kelvin, we know that Kelvin is equal to 273 plus degrees Celsius. We can convert the temperature from degree Celsius to Kelvin by adding 273. Same way we can convert the degree Celsius to Fahrenheit also. So commonly used SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. Then amount of substance. Amount of substance we are using represented by the letter N, and we'll use the unit mole. Then volume. Volume we are represented by letter V, and unit is used is liter. We can use meter cube, dm cube, cm cube, etc. These are the other units, but SI unit of volume is liter. So these are the different units of common properties of matter. Next we will discuss the classification of matter. There are two classifications of matter, that is physical classification and chemical classification. Physical classification and chemical classification. Physically, they are classified into solid, liquid and gas. That is a simple classification. We know that other states of matter are there, but we are discussing only solid, liquid and gas. Chemically, they are classified into three. What are they? Element, then compound, and the last one is mixtures. This is the impure form of matter. These two are pure form of matter, and this is the impure form of matter. So matter is physically classified into three types, that is solid, liquid and gas, and chemically classified into three types, that is element, compounds and mixers. We will discuss all these chemical classification, and this we will study in separate chapters later. So first we will discuss about the chemical classification of matter. What is meant by element? It is a purest form of matter. Then element is made up of same kind of atoms. So how can we define element? It is a pure substance made up of identical atom or same kind of atom. Element is a pure substance made up of same kind of atoms. Examples, we know the examples: carbon, hydrogen, chlorine, oxygen. All these are examples of elements. So element is a pure substance made up of same kind of atom, made up of identical atoms. There are different type of elements are there. We know that they are existing. Some are existing in solid state, some are in liquid state and in gaseous state. For example, carbon exists in solid state and hydrogen exists in gaseous state. Chlorine, oxygen all are exist in gaseous state. Then mercury exists in liquid states. So these are the examples of elements. Next, what is compound? That is the second classification of the matter. What is mean by compound? It is also a pure substance, but it is not a single element. It is formed from elements by chemical combination. They are combined in a fixed ratio. There is a fixed ratio of matter. Element. For example, water. Water is a compound formed from hydrogen and oxygen, and they are combined in a chemical combination. They are sharing or transferring their electrons. That is called chemical combination. And there is a fixed ratio. They are in the ratio 2:1. 2 hydrogen combines with the 1 oxygen. So we can define compound. It is a pure substance formed by the chemical combination of 2 or more elements in a fixed ratio of their mass. It is a pure substance formed by the We have to stress that 2 points. It is a pure substance formed by the chemical combination of 2 or more. Another example, C12, H22, O11. This is an example of a compound. Here there are 3 elements, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Another example, C2, H5, OH. Here also contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. So all these are examples of compounds, and in these compounds elements are combined in a fixed ratio of their mass. So compound is a pure substance formed by the chemical combination of elements in a fixed ratio of their mass. That is compound. Then third one, that is then compounds also exist in solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. We know that solids are there, and for example sugar, sucrose, C12, H22, all of it exist in solid state. Then water exists in liquid state, and there is another one, ammonia, carbon dioxide. All these are examples of gaseous compounds. So compounds exist in solids, liquids and gaseous states. Okay, then third one we'll discuss, that is the impure form of matter, that is called mixtures. Mixtures are impure. What is mean by impure here? Because it does not, it contains more than one element. Compounds also contain more than one element, but there is a chemical combination is there, but here there is no such combination. That is called physical combination. We can separate by hand. Then another thing, here the combination is physical combination. There is no such ratio. In compounds there is a fixed ratio of elements that are combined, but here there is no such ratio. In any ratio, they can combine in any ratio. For example, if we will take some pepper and mix it with some sugar, we will get a mixture. We can take any amount of pepper and sugar. Then we can separate them easily. That means there is no chemical sharing of chemical combination between pepper and sugar. That combination is called the physical combination. Physically combined substance can be separated by using our hands. There is no devices required for that, or there is no chemical changes required for that. So mixtures are impure substance formed by the physical combination of 2 or more substances, that may be an element or compound, anything, in any ratio. So it's an impure substance formed by the physical combination of 2 or more substance, bracket, that may be an element or compound, in any ratio. That is called mixtures. Then we can classify the mixtures into 2. There are 2 types of mixtures. That is homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous, actually it appears like a compound. We cannot easily distinguish it as it is a mixture. For example, a sugar solution. Sugar plus water. Take a glass of water and add some sugar to it and stir. After some time we will get a complete, clear, homogeneous solution. When we look into that, we cannot find any sugar particle. We can see only water, or we can see only sugar solution is there. So on that time we will mistaken it is to be a compound, but actually it is a mixture of 2 components, that is sugar and water, but we cannot easily separately visible that components. That type of mixtures are called homogeneous mixture. That is, between their components we can see how we are seeing an object by observing their boundaries. So here there is no such boundaries. So no visible boundaries between the components. No visible boundaries. So we cannot see the components in a homogeneous solution. A very good example is milk. Milk is an example for a homogeneous solution. We cannot see their component. Another example is all alloys. Alloys are mixers of metals. For example, jewelry, gold jewelry contains gold and copper. We cannot see copper in that jewelry. Or duralumin, magnalumin, all these are alnico, that is used for making magnets. Then brass, bronze, they are containing copper ion. Duralumin, they are alloys of aluminium with other metals. They are used for making parts of aircrafts, very light and very strong alloys. All these are alloys. They are mixers of different metals, but we cannot see the metals separately. When we observe it, it will appear like a single metal. That type of mixers are called the homogeneous mixers. The very simple example is sugar solution. Otherwise, clay water, or we add some sand to water. All these are examples of heterogeneous mixes. If we add some sand particles to water, we can see the sand and we can see the water separately. That is, there is visible boundaries between the components. When there is boundaries are visible, we can observe that object. So that's an example for heterogeneous.